When I think of Minnesota or Minneapolis, my very first thought is fraud.
Yeah,
That's
which is why
it's
I
not
think
even about ice.
which is why I think there's such a hot spot on
Yeah,
Minneapolis, right? Because you
probably.
have the fraud thing, but also now um, ICE being there.
I think that's the directed focus so that we're not focusing on the fraud. I mean,
Hey, what's up, guys? So today's episode is brought to you by our proud sponsor, Elevated Silence. This is one of my favorite sponsors, not only because Jim Hood is a very dear, close friend of mine. He's been on this podcast several times, but because I am an avid user of this product. As you guys know, I love to go to the range. I love to train civilians and law enforcement. And this is a suppressor that I use each and every time I go to the range. I can tell you this, every time I bring it out, I get nothing but compliments of just how quiet it is. There's people are always looking for these differences in suppressors. They want it lightweight, but with lightweight, it's probably going to be a little bit louder. The heavier the weight, it's going to be quieter. And I think Jim has found the perfect combination of both, which is why I love this suppressor. He makes everything from 22 to 300 Norma. So if you guys are looking for a suppressor for your rifle or pistol, be sure to check Elevated Silence out. Use the code SMS15 to get 15% off. And also he has some awesome merch for these red hats and this red shirt right now. If you purchase it, a percentage of the proceeds goes to the American Suppressor Association, which will defend your rights to be able to use suppressors as you should, as any American should. All right? Thank you, and God bless.
Welcome back to Shoot Me Straight with Eddie and Dave. Today we are doing a Q&A. So I've been pretty busy on the road traveling. I'm actually taking off again tomorrow, so I'm glad we could get in here and fit this into the studio. We're just trying to keep some episodes on track here and put out one a week. But I know we get a lot of good feedback on these Q&A questions, especially with some of the questions that come in and the advice that Dave gives, for sure. A lot of good feedback on Dave's advice.
these are some of my favorites.
Yeah. But yeah, it's we're excited about it. Like I said, I just got back from travel yesterday. I was in
Shot show.
Ohio first, putting on a course in the beautiful Sandusky, Ohio. It was negative, I don't know what out there, but it was an indoor range. But that was like for 3 days, and then I went from there to SHOT Show.
What was the course for?
It was just basically a basic pistol rifle course that I taught, but it was through Barbell Ballistics, which is a guy that I met a while ago, Brian Broody. He's from my hometown, Fort Wayne, so he started a training company up there, so he had me come up and be an instructor for it. He found the range. So yeah, we traveled, flew into Fort Wayne and then traveled a couple hours to Sandusky, Ohio. They had the indoor range, dude, was insane.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Lake Erie Arms, Ohio. It's like a yacht club. So you walk in, nice restaurant, a bar, cigar lounge, sauna, steam room.
Oh, done it right.
Just apparel shop. Everything was like very nice. And then they have obviously 2 to 3 indoor ranges that you can use. Plus they have like this virtual training range that you could, which I didn't really use. I didn't go looking at. But it was cool, man. Had a good time doing that.
You probably don't prefer indoor ranges, huh?
I do when it's below zero. Yeah. If I can choose and it's nice weather out, I'd rather do outdoor just because for instruction purposes, an indoor range, it's loud, everything's echoing, you're trying to give out instructions or give people advice and it's a little hard to hear in there. But we made it work. I mean, you can make it work, but I feel like on outdoor ranges, there's a lot more freedom of movement. And just a lot more options on what you can do as far as the training goes. But they were they let us run however we wanted to. They were like, hey, this whole bay is yours to do with. So
Are some ranges like range Nazis coming around trying to interrupt you all the time?
I think, like I would never go put on a course at the one down here, the powder room, I think they're just anal about all the rules and everything like that. This range was more like, hey, they look at my credentials and they're like, okay, yeah, you obviously know what you're doing. And I explained to them my curriculum ahead of the time. So it's not like I'm like, hey, don't ask me questions. Let me just do my thing. I let them know like, hey, this is how I run the range. These are the things that I'm doing. Just give them a warm and fuzzy that I'm not just some idiot coming in there doing
Yeah.
whatever. But we ran a great course, and then I flew from there to Vegas to SHOT Show, which is always an experience. But it was actually really cool this time. Andrea and I went together. We weren't going for business. We went there just to see friends. So
Yeah.
met up with Andy Arbito and the whole Half Ace Blades crew. They had he throws a dinner every year there. So of his closest friends and companions, which is like, it's the coolest table you'll ever be at. Just a bunch of cool human beings. So we did that. Went to the Noveski party. Noveski's awesome. That's another great crew.
Okay.
So we just got to go spend time with friends and people that we like. I didn't go walk the floor or anything like that. It was more of like a little vacay for Andrea and I, just to go have fun for a couple days.
I picture SHOT Show being like a giant, like, I think of gun shows in West Texas, like a giant gun show where they just have booths set up. And,
It's massive. It's like Comic-Con for the tactical industry, dude. It's just hordes of people walking around. All these companies that have booths. Everyone's promoting their product or what they can do, and I mean, it's a good place to go, I guess, to network. It's just, in my experience, it was like my fourth time. The networking piece, man, it's like, yeah, you go talk to a bunch of people, but I would say, like, I'll leave there with maybe 100, business cards. Maybe one out of that 100 will turn out to be something. A lot of boozing going on, so there's a lot of like, booze and handshakes. Oh yeah, let's do something, and then it's like, that's the last time you're gonna hear about that.
Yeah.
But
I bet it's probably like any other trade shows. I mean, the networking happens outside the actual, like where you go to dinners and lunches.
Yeah, which is why it's one big party. So like, people walk the floor all day, and then they go to parties. All these companies throw parties each night. So they'll be like, oh, the SIG and Glock party or this night, the Vesky party. There's tons, of parties going on. So Andrew and I flew in Tuesday, so it was like a day after it started. So by the time we got there, everybody was worn out, because I think everybody goes hard the first night. They get there, it's Vegas. There's no other choice. You're like, let's go. But we had a good time, man. Time well spent.
Yeah, staying in fancy hotels.
Yeah, dude. My buddy Ryan Bates, who we had on the podcast, just a phenomenal human being, one of my closest friends. He hooked us up. He used to run security for Steve Wynn. He explained that on the podcast. So he got us a friends and family discount.
That's cool.
At the hotel, so worked out. It was good.
Probably the nicest hotels there are the Wynn hotels.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Yeah, I love that hotel. I mean, the room was awesome. We had a room, the view overlooking the Vegas and the Sphere and all that. So it was pretty awesome.
You've been to the Sphere, right?
I have not been inside it. No. I want to go back and go to like a venue there, some kind of concert or whatever. We were talking to one of the Uber drivers, and he was saying that. In his words, I mean, he was saying the Sphere is hurting. Like, they're not making enough money to keep it going. And then the tickets to go see an event there, I think the cheapest ticket you can get is like $400 to $600.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think they're having a hard time filling
massive
seats.
Expense to run that thing.
Yo, dude, when you see it, you're like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That has to cost some money to keep going. They run it 24/7, so it's constantly going. Which it's a really cool addition to Vegas, I think. Yeah, when you're overlooking it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good. And then I'm taking off tomorrow to Jupiter, Florida. Got an 8-hour drive to go. Each year I go support Operation 300, the nonprofit that is founded after my good buddy Aaron Vaughn, who was killed in a helicopter crash at Extortion 17. So they take Gold Star kids camping each summer, I think multiple times a year. They give them a mentor, like a father-like mentor, because they've lost, obviously, their dad or their mom during the war. So I really love that foundation, because it's probably one of the purest things that's coming out of the 20-year war. And so each year we get to go down there. We put on a shoot for 3 days to help raise money for the foundation. It's a bunch of good team guys that come down. We all know each other. We all have a connection to Aaron in some way. So we at least get to be together for 3 days and put on a course, and then also able to talk about Aaron and tell people why this foundation is important.
Yeah. You were really close with Aaron, right?
Yeah. I lived with him him and Brad Kavner, who also lost his life during a training accident. I lived with them for a couple years.
Oh.
So yeah, it's important to me to keep their memory and name alive.
I think I've heard Andrea talk about Aaron and his wife,
Kimberly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's, keep this next couple months are busy.
Yeah.
So.
Good busy.
But we got a bunch of good guests coming up in February as well, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
buddy. You want to get start on the first question, Isaiah?
Yeah, let's do it. So we're gonna start off strong here, guys. If you had to fight one animal your size, what are you choosing?
Dave.
I'm not gonna take yours. You...
I'd fight Dave. Dave's an animal.
I think I would go for and you're for sure gonna win.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
You can't
choose a mouse. It has to.
What's the point of fighting him? It's
right.
A test.
It has to be your size.
I got to see if I'm able to take this animal or not.
What weight class
Timberwolf or something?
A timber wolf?
I
don't. You're getting tore up on that one, homie. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, take the back. Take the back. Choose the back. Don't.
Those things are vicious, though.
Yeah.
What about you, Eddie?
Kangaroo, dude. I try a kangaroo out, man. It's like, standing
box
up.
it.
The boxing expert.
Try and box it. Try and take it down. You just got to watch out for them feet.
Yeah.
They'll tear you up, I guess. But I've only been around a kangaroo a handful of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like giant rats. But I think I could take one.
Yeah. Kangaroo.
Possibly.
I think you probably could.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some of these questions here. Do you think Americans or most Americans are actually political or just emotionally manipulated?
What do you think?
One, I think that's a good question.
Yeah, that's
I don't see how answering it. It can't be one or the others. I think it's both, right? For sure, manipulated. We're all manipulated by media. I think my experience has been as I've gotten older. I feel like there's a sense that I have to have some knowledge of what's going on, so I can't just completely disengage.
Manipulation.
Yeah,
you're being manipulated to think you have to have.
I think a lot of it has to be. I do think there's some inherent sense of, at least morality in thinking of how things should be run. I don't know if everyone has some of that. I think if you're in business leadership or any sort of leadership position, mm-hmm. You've trained yourself to think about how things run and how things are organized. So, but I don't think people are nearly as political as they would be if they just got off social media.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can only speak on my own experience because I don't feel like I can speak for other people, like how they feel or, but just I can tell you from growing up, I didn't care about politics, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't care about politics until my whole scenario when I went to trial and all that, and that's really where it was like drinking through a fire hose of how politics work and how divided it really is. I grew up, my parents were Democrat, but weren't really like, it wasn't like stated like, hey, we're Democrats. It's just, they were just had Democratic values.
Like traditional
Democratic. Like moderate. Like it wasn't this far left. I mean, now if you say, yo, my parents were Democrat, if they were thinking of that right now, they're like, oh my gosh, they're for, chopping kids' dicks off and doing all this stuff, like all the fringe far left stuff. But no, my parents were moderate, and I grew up not really knowing, politics wasn't really talked about, growing up at the dinner table or anything like that. I'm sure maybe it was, and that's probably where I got up and left and went and played with my toys or something, because I'm like, I feel the same way about politics, actually, that I did back then. I'm like, this is gay. I have no interest in any of this. But I feel now, yes, we are constantly being manipulated to give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pick a team. You have to be on a side. And I can tell you, like, I felt it full force when through my whole ordeal. Like, and I'm still, to this day, grateful for what Trump did for my family, that he actually, you know, got involved when he should have. But then I feel like because of that, there's this pressure on, like, well, now you have to be on the right. Like, you have to agree with everything because this is what Trump did for you. And that's where I'm like, no, I don't play that game. I'm grateful for what he did, and I voted for him every time he ran because I agree with the majority of the things that he says. You know, as far as how he acts, it's like, yeah, is there certain things you're like, dude, tone it down? But again, I'm not in his position. I'm not. That's the type of leader that he is, and that's fine as long as his actions are matching what he says. Then I'm okay with it. But at the same time, like I said, I don't feel like I'm not pressuring myself to be like, oh, I have to pick a side. It's like, dude, I agree with both sides on certain things, and that's called critically thinking on my own. Like, I don't have to go one way just because everybody else is. And so, but I do think people are easily manipulated. I mean, even if you talk about people that run businesses, Dave, that are like, oh, they have to be involved because decisions that they make can either hurt them or help them grow their business when it comes to political stuff. And I just feel like that's not leadership if you are basing decisions off of that, because it's your company. You run it the way that you feel it should be ran, no matter if it's going to hurt a certain group's feelings or not. But I think people are manipulated into making decisions like that. So they're owned. They're owned by politics. And my feeling on politics, like I said, it's like, dude, to me, it's like the military. Politics sucks the fun out of everything. Like, the military, like, has done, we're diving, jumping, all this like cool stuff. People are like, oh, you get to do all these things. If people it's not that fun when we're doing it. Believe me, it's not a leisurely activity, and you do it so much that you don't even want to go to the beach anymore or go in the ocean anymore, right? And I think with politics, it's the same thing. It's if you sit there and you're so invested in it, it will suck the fun out of life, dude. Like, even to the point where it's like, oh, I don't want to listen to this musician anymore because they are on this side. And it's like, well, that person's talented regardless, or an actor or an actress, or name your thing, right? It's like people will stop listening or watching things or, investing time into things that could benefit them just because of what their political ideology is. It's like they cannot let that go. So I do think there is a lot of manipulation involved, and I don't think people are as political as they think they are. They're just being manipulated into believing that they are.
Do you think that social media has a big part in that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, social media keeps you, and again, you're in control of your own algorithm. So you can't just blame it on social media and be like, this is why, but you control your algorithm. So if all of your algorithm is nothing but like political drama and hate and, getting you to fear one side or hate one side, you're choosing to look at that stuff. So you are, that's your own doing. But I think people are addicted to the drama and the dopamine. It's the same reason like people watched mainstream media for so long, right? Even though after a while it was like, yeah, dude, you're being manipulated by mainstream media, but they're addicted to it. They're addicted to the dopamine spikes and all of that stuff. It's no different.
What is your guys' opinions on the ICE operations happening in Minneapolis?
Well, let's be clear. ICE operations are happening in more places than just Minneapolis, right?
True.
They're happening all over, in certain cities in this country. But obviously Minneapolis is the main point of focus right now because of everything that's going on there. What are your thoughts, Dave, on it first?
My very when I think of Minnesota or Minneapolis, my very first thought is fraud.
Yeah,
That's
which is why
it's
I
not
think
even about ice.
which is why I think there's such a hot spot on
Yeah,
Minneapolis, right? Because you
probably.
have the fraud thing, but also now um, ICE being there.
I think that's the directed focus so that we're not focusing on the fraud. I mean, I think and it's not, and I, I think there's probably massive. To me, that's the only part that really gets me, uh, like more invested. I don't want to see anyone killed. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I
So, what are
don't
your
think you
thoughts on that? With
stop
the
protesting.
obviously, there's two now civilians that were
Mm-hmm.
killed
Yeah.
over the course of what 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think those two scenarios were quite a bit different, right?
yeah,
If you look, I mean, I'm sure just about everyone's been bombarded with your first question, bombarded with the footage
yeah,
and multiple angles and all that stuff. And it's like the very first one was a very different scenario than the second one. If you watch the second one,
yeah.
you're like,
Not
bro,
good. Not
yeah.
good at all.
And so you're going, okay, don't go and start pushing around an ICE agent and like don't get in there. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you had 4 or 5 guys on them, and I mean, I'm just like, you probably can speak from it from a training standpoint. I'm like, hey, neon belly, like you got 4 or 5 guys around someone else.
Yeah, and I'm not. I don't. I want to be very careful because I don't want to sit there and like armchair quarterback and be like,
Yeah,
if I was there, then I would do this. But obviously, from someone from my background, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Like you can look at a scenario like that, and obviously you are going in your head be like, okay, point out things like that doesn't seem right, or
yeah,
I would probably do this better. But
yeah,
again, I'm not in that situation.
yeah.
My thoughts on the whole thing are the whole operation in itself of what ICE is tasked to do is a complex situation, right? They are looking to get illegals out and deport them, right? And then the main concern is obviously going after which they said the violent criminals, the gangbangers, the drug dealers, rapists, whatsoever that are illegal that need to get out of here, which I think everybody can be on board with. Everyone's like, yes, get them out of our country. I think from rounding up, they are going after hopefully those people, but also they're just rounding up illegals in general. They did it here. The people that were long term renting from us got deported. They got hemmed up, and they were, as far as they weren't legal immigrants,
Yeah.
but they were abiding by every law of this country. I mean, they were productive citizens. Working every day, paying their bills, doing all that. And I get it. When that happened, we were kind of like, dang, dude, that sucks because they were a nice couple too,
Yeah.
And Andrew and I actually were like, hey, what can we do to help you? Because they took the husband, and we told the wife, we're like, listen, we'll pay for the next 3 months of your rent if you are willing to get a job, and then if you want to stay here. But they were lost at that point. Their husband got taken. She had kids, so she had to leave. And that, that's the hard part. It's not going to be a clean operation. But neither, if you look at, neither was letting thousands upon thousands upon thousands of illegals into this country. So, yes, that wasn't clean. This isn't going to be clean either, getting rid of it. But my issue with what's happening in Minneapolis is you are sending these ICE agents into these complex situations who are not trained for it, not one bit. And bottom line, even simple law enforcement are not trained to handle these types of scenarios. You know what I mean? I mean, they are and I'm sick of the right, like, these people are trained to do this. No, they're not.
Yeah.
They are not. And it's evident after the two shootings that we just saw. I don't think it's a good look. I think this is where politics turns everything gay. It's obviously political, and for the right to be backing up these shootings and being like labeling these people as domestic terrorists or whatever. I'm like, dude, that is wrong on all accounts. I think that situations do happen. Like I said, these aren't easy situations to handle. I think both sides are at fault. I think the people of Minneapolis are antagonizing. I think the leadership there is antagonizing, which is now we've resulted in 2 deaths. But also the absolute power and authority that ICE has, I think it's being abused.
Especially if you feel like it's not trained. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
and so I think that the way I think it's being abused is you're putting these ICE agents in situations that they are not prepared to handle, and then when they end up killing somebody that probably shouldn't have been killed, it's sort of like, well, that's what they're here to do. That's what they're trained for, and you shouldn't have got involved. And it's like, well, no, you should be better at de-escalating the situation. Especially with this last guy where it took 5 to 6 guys take him down. It's like, dude, first off, where are you recruiting these ICE agents from? Like, they all look like a bunch of beta males that they have no clue what they're doing. Then you have them dump 10 I don't know the specifics, but I know I saw the video. It's like 10 to 12 rounds into this dude where, yeah, he had a gun on him, but it was not in his hand. It was in his belt line. That was a bad shoot, man, all day long. All
do you
day.
think there's some grace to stuff like that in the heat of the moment?
I think this, dude. I think the first shooting and this shooting, what they should have done is, do the investigation, which, okay, the first shooting, that guy legally was cleared all day.
Yeah.
Like, he could say, yes, that the person was assaulting me with a vehicle. I was justified. Now, does that make it right?
Yeah.
No. I think they should have taken back, like, okay, and it's the same thing when we were in overseas, and if something like this happens, we do an extensive AAR, like, hey, how can we prevent this from happening again, right? Doesn't mean we stop doing our job, but it's like, hey, man, this is not a victory. This is a mishap that could have been prevented, but now let's talk about this and let's figure out a way that we can mitigate from this type of thing happening again. Now, this second shooting, it's like, dude, people need to be fired. All 6 of those dudes that were involved need to go. It's like you had no right to empty that many rounds into that individual. I saw the video. He did not have a gun in hand. He had it, and actually the cops had taken the gun off him before they even shot him during the video. So you can't watch that unless you're some far right-wing freaking brainwashed moron. You cannot watch that and be like, oh yeah, all day, justified. Like, he shouldn't have been impeding an ICE operations. And it's like, dude, give me a break. And I can say this too, like, if overseas, if we were operating in a certain area, right, and we had 2 civilian shootings, that might have been, you could be like, hey, this was justified. It doesn't matter. Operations would be shut down. Like, you are no longer operating in this area. They would bring in another unit and be like, okay, this unit's gone because of what happened. Don't make the same mistake, right? So I think there has to be an overview of everything that they're doing. I really hope that they are taking ICE agents that have been dealing with this situation and are bringing them back to wherever headquarters and passing down the knowledge, like, hey, dude, this is what's going on. This is what we need to start training to, because this is what is happening to us on a daily basis there. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Right? And again, the rhetoric from both the left and the right has just been ridiculous. It's this, and I don't know what the end state is supposed to be. I don't like. To me, I'm like, okay, what if the Minnesotans, people in Minneapolis don't stop? Because it doesn't seem like they are. What if they don't stop protesting? They don't agree with what you're doing. So what's the answer? Kill them all? Is that what we do? Because that seems to be what the message is. getting to.
We sort them all. We say if you're
They're American citizens.
come on this side.
But
Yeah.
these are
No,
American
I hear you.
citizens. You know what I
hear
mean?
you.
So like, dude, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I'm watching the
Yeah.
messages from both sides. I'm like, dude, we're talking about American citizens here. And I don't care. You don't have to agree with what they're doing. Like, you don't. But guess what? They don't have to agree with what you're doing either. That's what it makes America America. Like, we can protest. We can use our voice to be like, hey, I don't agree with what's going on. That doesn't mean we start shooting people, right? And then on the other hand, it's like, if you don't agree with what's going on, be smart about the way you protest, right? It's like, don't impede, don't get physical with the agents, all that, because you see what's happening. So
Yeah, I like that summary. You hear arguments both sides, but you brought up a really good point that I haven't heard a lot of, which is the training aspect of going, hey, they're ill-equipped. They're not equipped to handle these scenarios, and especially they're not going in there. You're not dealing with ISIS. You're dealing with American citizens.
Yeah, and then if you're going to start watering down the label terrorist, it's like, where do we go from there?
Yeah,
like you're just, they're impeding traffic, so they're terrorists. It's like, dude, give me a break, man. And that's where it can get very dangerous. Well, I think it is getting very dangerous at this point.
Yeah, those are good. I like your thoughts around that.
Let's switch gears here just a little bit. Maybe this is for some questions for you, Dave. Is technology making people smarter or more dependent?
Hey, what's up, guys? If you've been following me for a while, you know I'm a huge fan and supporter of Firecracker Farm. Alex, the owner, is not only an incredible human being, but he makes an incredible product. And that is why we could not be happier that they are sponsoring the Shoot Me Straight podcast. Each guest, when they come in, will get a sample of Firecracker Farm so they can take it back and enjoy. And I can tell you, to each person that we've given it to, they have not been disappointed. You can put these, put this salt on your favorite food, favorite beverage. I've even seen people put it in their coffee. They love it. There's an assortment of heat, so if you don't like it too hot, they definitely have that taken care of with some mild flavors. And then it goes all the way to extreme heat if you like to sweat. So if you guys are interested in purchasing some, go to firecracker.farm. All right, thank you for listening, and God bless.
Both? Neither? I don't for sure more dependent, and I don't think that trend is. I mean, think of just since ChatGPT, right? Because that's the most popular AI by far. You have baby boomer generation ChatGPTing things all the time now, right? It just made the barriers of entry so low that I have any questions or thoughts, instead of having to work at some research, type it in and tells you stuff. There's good and bad to it. I think sometimes it's more bad as far as social media, for example.
Yeah.
It
makes it.
Go ahead.
No, what are you gonna ask?
I was gonna say, is there any specific job you think that probably won't exist in 10 years?
Yes, I think it's gonna drastically change. People think this is like an AI bubble. I do not believe that. It's not a bubble. It's a shift. And people that work more deeply with AI, especially developers. I mean, it's already completely changed.
Who do you
those
think is
jobs.
gonna whose jobs are gonna go away?
I think that I think they're gonna change some. So any job that it's going to be used, it's going to be they're going to be using AI, working alongside it to make them better for a while. And when I say a while, I'm thinking in tech terms, I don't know, the next 5-10 years. So they're going to be working in current. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of lower level tasks that are just going to get replaced by AI. that are just, think of even making cars and stuff like that. A lot of it's robotics, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of industries are going to have lower level tasks being done by robotics and AI. But I also think there's going to be new jobs that open too, of engineering jobs, of working on AI, or of training different models for those positions and stuff like that. I think I think the world in 20 years is going to be drastically different.
Just think about how fast it's changed already.
Yeah, I think
pretty
it's going to be
nuts.
drastically different. If you even, I've been developing with AI for 2 years, and like heavily for 2 years, and how much it's changed in the last 6 months. It shocks me, like how good it is
Yeah.
at development. Um, it's gonna be interesting, man.
Do you
It'll
guys
be
remember
interesting.
obviously I was born in 2000, so it was a lot different for me, but I'm sure you remember before then when everything was like
The good old days.
pagers and the good
Mhm.
old
The good old days, yeah, which I wish
Yeah.
we'd go back to.
Yeah, now we got driving cars.
Yeah.
It's like my wife tells me, she's like, in digital age, I'm still running on analog. Like I don't
Yeah.
I'm just now using ChatGPT for stuff, and I will say I love it. Like
Yeah.
it makes things easier, especially. I use it for everything now. Like
Yeah.
internet doesn't, like if I have to look up something, I just ask ChatGPT because it buffers out all the other BS.
Yeah.
And I think it's I, it makes me sound more intelligent, but am I really intelligent? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I can sit there and read something off to you that sounds, super informative and smart, but that's not my own words.
Mhm.
That's ChatGPT's words. So am I really intelligent? No. That's
Mm.
I'm intelligent enough to be able to read words on a screen, right?
Yeah.
Did
But
you guys ever think it was going to be that advanced so fast? Within the next when did computers first? Well, not computers, but when did technology really start taking off? Was it early 2000s?
90s.
Yeah.
90s. You started getting PCs,
Okay.
right? Like you started getting
the
back
Oregon
then.
Trail.
Yeah.
What is that?
I used to
Started getting
play. You don't know what
compact
the Oregon Trail
Presarios.
is, dude? That was a video game we used to play in school, like in third grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a computer. Like I remember going to the computer labs when
Yeah.
I was like second and third grade and being told they're like, this is what the future will be. Like
Yeah.
they were like, in the future, this is, everything will run off this. And of course, when you're like, whatever, let me play my video game, So I
Yeah.
would sit there and just play. And I had no interest in technology even back then. I was like, unless it's serving me, video game wise, and
Yeah.
I just never found interest in it. But I do, look at where we're at now. It is running everything. So I think that we are going to be super dependent on it.
We are. I think we
We
already
already
are
but
to
it's just
an
gonna get
extent that
worse.
most Americans don't even know. Like, if AWS went down, if like, man, it would be
what's the
massive.
feeling you get when you lose your cell phone for an hour?
Uh,
Is it a certain
I have
level-
two
certain
feelings.
level of
One,
anxiety?
and there's a certain yes, and also like a kind of like a unchaining too, in a weird way. Like if you ever go a little while without it, there for sure is a level of anxiety of like, okay, where's my phone? Like
Yeah,
it's not
like,
attached
I'm
to
saying
me.
that first initial feeling is like, oh,
For
shit.
sure.
Yeah, and that should scare you.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, this little box right here, if I don't have it, my anxiety spike. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what am I going to do without it? And it's
Yeah.
just like, maybe you should try and find out then.
Yeah.
What would you do without it?
Yeah, if you ever take like a tech fast of some sort where you have like 3 days, if you go hunting out in West Texas and you don't have any cell phone or something like that, and you just leave the phone and don't even think about it, like, within usually a day or so, you find yourself almost like in, I have found myself almost in a rhythm of, wow, I had good conversations, ate lunch, like,
You're
and
less distracted.
oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
I do think there's different types of intelligence, though. I think, like, as far as research and being able to spout off facts and stuff like that, for sure, I believe we drop in intelligence because we have something else that is our brains don't have to work for it It doesn't have to, you don't have to write a paper,
It's comfort.
Yeah, and so, but I think there'll be a big spike in like social intelligence, um,
You
and
think there'll be a spike in social intelligence?
hopefully, yeah, we that it's going to be more valuable, I should say, that people aren't going to value just being able to spout facts off as much as being able to deliver it very well. Also, being able to understand like people's emotions and what's going on with them, having discernment, stuff that. But even then, the AI is getting really good with that too.
And that's where
It's pretty wild. It's pattern recognition. I mean, that's really what a lot of AI is recognizing patterns.
I would almost think it would take away our social intelligence. Like I see
Because
it,
we're addicted to the phones
yeah.
and
Like
not.
if you see these kids now, like you go to the grocery store or somewhere, and you're dealing with these 20-year-olds that whatever, and you're trying to get help. Like a lot of them, they don't make eye contact with you. They don't look at you. Everything is, oh well, what is it? Okay, and then they're on their phone too. So I'm like, to me, that's detracting from social
Yeah.
intelligence. Social intelligence is be able to talk somebody, look them directly in the eye, be able to communicate directly, show a level of respect. Like, hey, I'm talking to you, like you're talking to me. But I think that I see that like diminishing
Yeah.
with these younger generations, just because they are so used to staring at a screen. That is who they talk to.
Yeah. With
You're
your
just a distraction from the screen.
teenagers, do you ever see them like together and they're all just on a phone
Oh, buddy,
together?
I have a video on my phone saved, and I went up to my son's room one time. He had 6 friends over. I go into his room. One kid's on a VR headset. The other 2 are on the big screen, and then the rest of them are on their phones, all doing separate things,
Yeah.
and they're not engaging with each other. But that is how these kids engage, though, now. And you can sit there, and I try and talk to them like, "Hey,"
Yeah.
they look at you like, "Shut up, boomer," and you're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I said my piece. I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Eddie, maybe these are more directed towards you now, but what is up with the Rob O'Neill situation?
Oh, geez.
Hmm. He went on Stump's podcast.
I did. Yeah, he did. I listened to that. He went on Ritland as well. Obviously, this is like the vet bro entertainment drama that continues all the time.
I like him. I like Rob. I
I've
like
said it
Andy and.
from the get-go, man. I never worked with Rob.
Mhm.
He was one of the only ones that stuck up for me during my whole thing. He was going on the news saying it was BS, and I met him a handful of times afterwards. He's, very friendly, charismatic dude. I think he's a team guy. So I won't sit here and bash him or say anything.
Yeah.
But I do think with this lawsuit, just from my perspective, having been involved in a couple lawsuits in my life, I'm like, I don't think it's a very smart idea to be going on podcasts talking about your lawsuit.
Mm.
I think that anything you say will be used against you in the lawsuit. And I'm saying this on both ends, because I know I'm also friends with Brent and Tyler from Antihero, right? I'm friends with both of them, and that's who, they're in this lawsuit together. And I think, hey man, if you're a guy's going to go the length and really want to get whatever the truth is out, I was like, then the court will settle that. But anything you do or say from this point until you get to court, it'll be used against you when you get there. So I don't think it's a very smart move to be going on, talking about it, telling stories, and then I did listen to Stumps the whole way through. And I will say this, Andy is a phenomenal interviewer. I think I listen to him, weekly. I like the way he interviews people and just the conversations that they have. I think Andy's very down to earth, and I think that he has a very grounded and good head on his shoulders, very common sense. And I think during the interview, when Rob had stated that they had lied during their debrief, and that actually wasn't what happened. There, I'm like, oh, that's not good, man.
Because
It's just not a good look, first off, and to come out with that right now in the middle of this lawsuit, I mean, I can only imagine his lawyer is banging his head against the wall. But again, I'm friends with both sides, dude, and you don't like to see this type of drama, but it's happening, and I'm just like, dude, I wish the best for both, man. I almost think it's just I don't know if it's unneeded or unwarranted to have this level of attention, but here we are, and so I hope both people are able to walk away and live a life of peace, man. At the end of the day, especially like it is, man. Like we interview so many veterans on this podcast, and I think the hardest thing for these veterans to find is peace after their service. Right. But then again, when we're so addicted to chaos, when there's no war or chaos going on, they'll create it. And I don't think that's good for anybody, man. So I really do hope that whatever happens, that they both parties can walk away and just be at peace, man.
I have thoughts around. There's a lot of civilians so tied into it, and I'm like, a lot of me thinks, why? Like, how come? Like, you don't know. I don't know. There's a piece of, man, you think you may know, but like, dude, you're not a Navy SEAL. You've never been through all that. You've never been to war. Like, you don't understand the dynamics. You don't understand any of that stuff, and they're just offering their thoughts and opinions like crazy. And I'm like, I don't have any because I don't. That's not my like. There's too many things that I don't understand. I don't have that experience.
And civilians shouldn't understand. You want to understand it? Go join. Go raise your right hand and go do the job. If you don't do that, then I'm sorry, man, but your comments or your how you feel about the situation doesn't matter. And what I can't stand is on both sides they'll ridicule either person on both sides, like oh, they're this, and call them names, and it's like, dude, Brent and Tyler both served this country. Tyler was a cop, and then Brent was Delta Force operator. So it's like, dude, they both have done things for this country that if you have not served, then you have no right to belittle or say things about them. And the same goes for Rob O'Neill. It's like that guy has done more for this country, it's his resume speaks for itself. So you might not agree with the way he told the story or maybe have some opinions on that way, but you cannot like sit there and besmirch his character and be like, oh, this guy's a coward or this and this. It's like, dude, you have no idea what you're saying.
100%.
But again, that's all social media, dude. Like we go about before. It manipulates you to choose a side and then start attacking the other side.
True. That's a good word.
Dave, from like a tech entrepreneur standpoint, and then Eddie, for you from a military background, what's one habit that still shapes your life today?
Probably number one is doing my morning meditation. Like when I sit down and spend time with God in the morning. That's to me, that's foundational. And I don't always do it. Sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I get going and or just get selfish or consumed with what's going on with me. But for me, it's foundational for me to. I do 86 through 88 in the big book, AA big book. I start off with that. It's just basically saying, before we begin our day, we ask God to direct our thinking. We ask Him, how can I be of service to people today? Ask Him to say, here's my plans for today. But I also try and hold loosely of going, okay, if you have different plans, direct me. I think that's probably number one. That's not probably. That's number one. But there's other habits that I get into of, if I fall into like lower level thinking of I'm just I'll catch myself just like doing the next task, instead of pulling back and going, okay, thinking strategically. because that can kind of get you in a rut from growth, setting goals, doing stuff like that. I usually do. I do them in December of setting it for the year and just kind of reviewing it. Me and my wife this next year we talked about it. Of we each kind of set our own, but we're gonna start coming together and setting it. Um, but I think the main things are around God and family before entrepreneurial stuff, like before business. Yeah, we have goals of, most of the time it's doubling our worth that year, but it's also goals in giving. It's also goals in time spent together. I mean, the most important thing I think of is like freedom and family and God. Like those things come before. Like if I've made no more money the rest of my life, I'm be great. Like I'm
Yeah.
so blessed. And so like yes, I'm going to try, but also it's not going to come before like spending time with my kids while they're at this age and they're at my house and I get to shape like be a part of shaping them and God using me in them.
Yeah.
I
So
feel like for a lot of business owners too, or people that are starting businesses, they struggle with that family part because they're so invested with the business too. Did you
correct.
ever have a scenario or situation when you were building your company that family was put on the back burner, but you quickly realized that they were supposed to be above that, like your priorities were kind of out of line or out of place? Or is there anything that you'd probably encourage somebody that is building a business that if they are in that rut, maybe some tips or anything like that for them?
Yeah, of course. I've done it like I've done it. I didn't do it right. Like especially in the beginning, you have to. I mean, you just got to obsess over it. If especially if you're bootstrapping a startup, I mean, you have to. It's similar. I shouldn't say it's similar. It seems similar to like when you're in the sales, like other things take the back burner, and so when
Yeah.
you're in that startup mode, like everything takes the back burner. But you have to like I had to come out of that, and I think I've gotten in a good rhythm of it being not as important now, but I'll fall into it always. I think, and that's why I think that morning meditation, like a reflection time. If you're not a believer, just having some sort of reflection time.
Yeah.
Also, like if you're not a believer, like you believe in something, right? Like you have trust and faith in something, and so like, are you growing in that? So it's hard for me to think if someone's trying to really progress and honestly look at their life, they're going to come to some realization that hey, there is a God, and it's not me, and I need to grow in some sort of relationship with this God.
Yeah.
And to me, it's crazy. I almost separate. You think of like God being separate than business. It's like okay, business is about growing and making money and blah blah blah. It's like, man, God's foundational for me in business. Like I don't think I would not have any success if it wasn't for God. And so now I'm not saying prosperity stuff. I don't think like, hey, have a relationship with God so that you can make millions. It's like, no, like you have a relationship with God so that, man, you don't care about making millions is like your heart's desire.
Well, yeah, you're content in who
Yeah.
you are as a
Yeah.
child of God.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
makes you better at business and everything else in life.
Better at marriage, better at, I mean, all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Like I think the original question was like, what's a habit that you've taken over like what the past 20 years or?
Yeah, I mean, just something that you kind of learned, in your time with the
I
military.
will say this, like, I agree all day with Dave. My relationship with God is number one. My time in the morning with Him every day when I get up, read my Bible and I have my quiet time with Him before anybody's up in the house. I would say that is definitely propelled me a lot farther in who I am than any other habit that I have had. But the one habit that I've taken with me that from the past that I have not let go that I will continue to do is my physical fitness. Making sure that is a priority. It goes hand in hand with my time with God. So I will have my time with God, and then right after that, I'm going to stress my body in some form or fashion. Not only just stress my body, stress my mind. And it really, that helps me sort of work out through whatever problems I have running around in my head that morning when I wake up, right? God sort of gives me the clarity, like, hey, everything's going to be okay. I ask him to guide me through the day. I ask him to make me a better husband, a better father. I ask him to help me put him first in every decision that I make, and to give me a better perspective on where I'm at. But what the working out does for me is it helps me answer all these questions that I have in my head. And so if I ask God to guide me, the workout is sort of like the handshake to like, hey, okay, now I'm starting to get the answers, right? Because my brain's waking up. I'm stressing myself. And I can say this, like, maintaining my fitness, it's not a vanity thing or like, oh, I want to look good or this or that. I think that just comes with it if you stick with it. But what it does is it gives you a level up, right? So I'm not the smartest individual in the world, right? I've worked with guys who I'm like, holy cow, like this person's a, brainiac, and he's, got a lot of wisdom. But I was able to work alongside those individuals, and they wanted me to be alongside them because they knew I was physically fit and that no matter what happened, I would be standing right there next to them, right? Like any challenge I got thrown my way, I was like, I can, not that I had the thought process like, oh, I'm going to do that and I'm going to crush it. It's no, I can attempt to do that. Let's go. Like, I'll try it. I'll do it. And that's just because I had already prepared my body and mind to take on whatever stress like that might come my way. It's like, there might be a stressful situation, or even last year, I had my quad tore from my knee. That didn't impede me or slow me down it slowed me down physically, obviously, because I couldn't do certain things, but mentally I was like, no, I can still do things. I'm still going to push myself in areas, right? But the only way I could do that is because I was physically fit beforehand.
No.
Now, if I wasn't fit and I didn't have fitness as a priority, I probably would have went into a hole. Like, oh, woe is me. I can't do anything, blah, 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 which I think a lot of people end up going down that route. But if you maintain your fitness and stress your body and your mind daily, you are able to handle hard situations that life is going to throw at you. And so that is one discipline that I will continue to stick with, that I had in my past. The relationship with God, that's new. I've been doing that for about 3 years now, consistently. And I will say that is the main thing that is really driving me forward and helping me do good. But along with that, the other factor is maintaining a good level of fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. If you restarted life at 25 with what you know now, what would you do differently?
Invest in Bitcoin.
Not sold all my Bitcoin.
Yeah. At 25, geez. That's a tough question, man, because I feel like if you answer that like, oh, this is what I would have changed, then you're living in regret. I don't think I would change a thing, man. I enjoyed my path to where I'm at now, the ups and the downs, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Like, there are mistakes that I made, but those mistakes had to be made to shape me into the person that I am today. Even like, I think the one thing, pops in my mind is, I didn't marry Andrea until I was 28. I think I would have just tried to get with her sooner. You know what I mean? But even that, it's like, then life wouldn't have been the same. I don't want to. I would never want to change my past because it could change my future or what I have now. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Feel the same. Nothing.
Yeah. I will say this. I wish I would have submitted to God earlier. Yeah, there it is. I wish I would have submitted to God at a very young age. I don't know if things would have changed, but just knowing what I know now.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Something that, you know, why was it that you didn't, submit to God back then? Was it just the people that you were around, or was it mindset? Like, what was?
It was just no. It wasn't the people I was around because I was around Christians. I was around all different religions. I just think that I was young, immature. I got this. I'm in control of my destiny. I have my goal. My goal was to be a SEAL, and I had the drive and mindset to accomplish that. But back then, my thought process was, I have the drive. I am doing this. I'm making all these things happen. When in reality, it was God the whole time letting me do that. Right? He's like, I am going to let you go down this path. I gave you all the tools to go down this path, but I will let you go because I have other plans for you.
Yeah.
That's good. One of my last questions here is, what's something you wish you learned about marriage before saying I do?
I almost would take the same response. Like, I don't know if. I mean, there's a lot that I didn't know about marriage before that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at 15 years. Well, coming up on 16 years. But I mean, I had to go through all those experiences. Like, I had to go through those experiences because, I mean, I had people that told me all sorts of advice and wisdom, and some things I kind of stored away. But I needed to go through the experience to really learn what that meant.
Yeah.
I don't think like, oh man, I have the example marriage. Like, I think I'm in a good place of I am teachable. I'm willing to always like learn. I'm a lot more teachable now than I was then. But I think we have a great marriage, and I love my wife. I enjoy my wife. I like appreciate. Like, there's all these things. I think there's like any relationship, as it goes through years of stuff, it gets deeper, but it changes.
Well,
And
it
it's
changes
not.
you. It changes her.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have two people that they change.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I chose well. I will say this, that I did take that really seriously, because I was engaged before Francesca, and
Dang.
to
Dave, hot stuff.
you didn't know
You
that?
got women knocking at the door.
Well, the girl beforehand, I took her to see. I had one of the best things I ever did was he was a former pastor. He was a California guy that was a tech entrepreneur that ended up selling out a company, and then he moved, built this huge house, and then just just made it a ministry for college kids. And so him and his wife and at all times of the day, people would come over there, and they were just constantly serving, right? And I looked at his life, and I said, man, I want my life to look like his.
Yeah.
Which oddly today it looks a lot like his.
That's awesome.
And I think if you don't have a guy that you look up to as a young man and go, man, I want my life to look somewhat like his and their marriage to look like that, and then let him mentor you, I think you're really missing out. But I brought this former girl I was engaged to, I brought her to their house, and we started doing marriage counseling. We were engaged. And they got to a point that he came to me and just said, hey, we're not saying you shouldn't get married, but you need to call off the date. That's our recommendations. You call off the date, and you guys work through some stuff before you get married. And so I went back to her and said, we got to call the date off. Like, Mike and his wife told us that they don't think we're ready yet.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, no, we're getting married. And I was like, no, we're not. Like, we've asked them to speak into our lives. And then they give us they tell us what they think. Like, we're going to listen to them. And she's like, no, we're not. We're going to. And so, like, that was
it.
the beginning of the end. Yeah. And I ended up breaking it off with her. But then finding Francesca, like, I was really diligent about thinking long term and putting emotions aside and going, okay, does she have the same principles as me? Does she believe the same things biblically as me? Does she, like, I remember having that moment of, we had dated for a while, and it's the one relationship I did everything right. We didn't sleep together before marriage or anything.
Yep, same.
Which for me that wasn't a because I'm a great guy at all. It was a total God deal. But like I saw that she truly loved the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Like no BS, like, and she had her own relationship with God, not one that was going to just be dependent on if I was going to church or not going to church or in a good place. Like she had her own relationship with him, that she was like not crazy, that she was stable, that she had all these attributes that I go, okay, those are the things that are like non-negotiables that I want in a wife. And I can't even imagine what my life would be like if I didn't marry Francesca. Like it would not be good. It would not be good at all. And so I do think choosing a wife is probably the second biggest decision of a guy's life.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I don't. Again, what like the original question was what if I was?
Yeah, I mean, it was something along the lines of like, if you were, before you got married and said I do, like, what was something that you wish you would have learned?
Man, I don't know, because I dove into it just like I do everything else. Like, this is what I want, and I'm not thinking about any consequences. I'm going to do it. What I did know is that I loved her. Like, we were in high school together. I loved her in high school. She was my best friend, and then we reconnected. And I knew, I was like, I cannot let this pass. Like, this is not a coincidence that we ran into each other again. And I knew, I was like, I want to make this work. I had as much drive into making that work as I did into becoming a SEAL, except I was doing both now simultaneously. And like you said, I think I learned as I went, man, and I made tons of mistakes. I was not the husband I could have been at my full potential, but that's because I didn't know. I had to learn through that. And Andrea and I grew together as husband and wife. She has changed how she was as a mother and wife over the years with me. We've changed together, and we've sort of, through all that, we've grown into like this one entity. Where, I mean, right now I couldn't imagine it getting any better than it is right now. Like, I am literally, like, every day I wake up and I'm just like, dude, thank you, for what we have. We are truly blessed to be with one another. I'd say though, for like young men right now that are just getting married, or thinking about marriage, or like, hey, I'm about to pop the question, or maybe you're a couple years into your marriage. I would say what from my own experience, looking back, dude, I was a boy. I was a little boy, man, getting married. I was not a man at the time. You learn through marriage of what being a real man is, accepting responsibility as a husband, knowing that you are the leader of the household, and that you set the tone for the house. And so if you are young and immature, you can shirk that responsibility a bunch of times, and you can blame it on X, Y, and Z. Like, oh, why do I have to do that? Why aren't you doing this? As a man, it's like, it's your responsibility, man, to set the tone for that household. And guess what? Part of being a man is eating shit. Eating shit even when you don't think it's fair or that you shouldn't, but
it won't be fair.
No, it's not supposed, and that's where you grow as a couple. And I can tell you, Andrea ate shit also for me. And I'm looking back on, like, dude, I was such a boy letting her take on that responsibility, some of the responsibilities that she took on. But again, that's growth, man. Like, and I wouldn't look back and be like, oh, I should have been this way from the beginning. If I was that way from the beginning, then I wouldn't have grown into what I am now. You got to learn through experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so that's I guess my answer for that.
Nice. I think that's really all I got.
Yeah.
That was good.
Hey,
Yeah.
I would say, man, I like doing these Q&As.
do
We've
too.
only done a couple of them so far, but for the listeners out there, I mean, if you guys are enjoying these and you guys have questions that you want to send in, please do so to Isaiah. He'll harvest all the questions, and then we can.
Yeah, you can just comment on if you're watching on YouTube podcasts, or just on our Instagram reels. If you have more questions, just ask on there or DM us
Yeah,
Yeah.
on social media.
and we'll put out like a post or something reminding you guys too as well
Yeah.
if you want
Maybe
to
do
see
it like
us.
once a month or so.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, great.
Yeah.
All right,
Out.
out.
Hey, what's up, guys? So when I'm not doing the podcast, I'm doing a lot of traveling. I put on training all over the country for LE and civilians. I also travel a lot for my nonprofit, the Pipe Hitter Foundation. And as you guys know, travel going back and forth can wear you down. But this past year, I have found the antidote. So let me put you on to Aquavita, Destin's premier IV therapy and oxygen bar. This place is owned and operated by a board-certified ER physician with over 23 years of experience, so you know your health is in good hands. Every IV drip is mixed to Board of Pharmacy standards and backed by CDC-level infection control. Whether you're dealing with a fatigue, a hangover, jet lag, stress, immunity issues, or even PMS, they've got custom vitamin drips and boosters tailored just for that. When you go inside, the place is pretty awesome. It puts you at ease right when you go in there. They have comfy lounge chairs, which are perfect for singles or couples, full group sessions. And you can even book the whole space for bachelor or bachelorette parties, race day recovery, or wellness events. While you're in there, they go the extra mile too. They'll give you blankets, sleep masks, earplugs, aromatherapy oxygen, all complimentary. And the best part, every visit includes direct care from the physician and experienced RNs, all focused on fast, safe, and affordable wellness. So if you're in the Destin area, hit up Aquavita. Your body will definitely thank you.